Hey, I'm Kurt Thomas. Welcome to Good Company.
That was really cool.
Wow, was that good?
That was great.
Wow, thanks, bro.
Wow. Hey, everybody, I'm C. Thomas Howell,
And I'm Kurt Thomas.
and you're watching Good Company. You're going to point like that? Because we both point. Try that again. Try that again. Let me see.
What should I do?
Okay, what's your name?
Kurt Thomas.
And I'm C. Thomas Howell, and you're watching Good Company. Look at how he points again. I love that.
Hey
I'm
guys,
gonna take that away from you.
my name's Scott Boy and this is Good Company. Look what we have here. C. Thomas Howell, Tommy,
That's right.
Tommy Boy, and Kurt Thomas. Kurt Thomas helped me start the show.
That's Kurt Thomas Howell.
Kurt Thomas.
Kurt Thomas Howell.
C. Thomas Howell.
Dude, we just got done
We're gonna
playing
take
a
this
song.
on the road. Yeah, you did good, man.
No, you did great. And we did one song. It was a practice. And C. Thomas, I keep calling you C. Thomas. I should call you Tommy. Can I call you
Well,
Tommy?
nobody calls me C. Thomas. Who the hell would go through life being called C. Thomas? What's wrong with you, man?
I know, man.
You can pretend like you know me for a second and call me Tommy.
Maybe Mr. Tommy.
That work?
How do you guys know each other? That's I grew up with Kurt. So how do you?
Kurt and I met up in Blue Ridge. I lived in Blue Ridge for about 6 years, and didn't we meet up there at?
Yeah, I was playing at a party.
That's right.
That you were at.
And so, music was something that I always had an interest in, but it wasn't until COVID hit about a year ago that I picked up a guitar and started writing songs and started singing. And I was in Atlanta shooting The Walking Dead.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
Kurt and I just kind of started chatting a little bit.
I reached out to you through Instagram.
That's right.
He did?
I was like,
he stalked
dude.
you on Instagram?
And
Yeah, and he said
I
he was
did. I
in
did.
town, and I said, well, let's get together. I've got my guitar. I'm chasing some zombies. I'll come down here. I'll show you the
No,
set.
I didn't know you were on The Walking Dead.
But I
yet.
showed you right.
You did. I pulled up. I was like, dude. I was like, there's like a barricade and everything looked like a war zone.
Well,
I was like, is this The Walking Dead?
He
You go,
showed up in
"Yeah."
Alexandria, right?
Did he?
You know,
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, where are we? I said,
He was like,
I said, be careful, man. Them zombies will get you.
So you started singing and playing guitar just last year, you
Yeah.
said? That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you sound so good. Like,
Thank you.
You never tried it in the past? This is
Never
all
once
brand
in
new?
my whole life.
You're one of
Never
those
once in
guys
my
that try
life.
something new and you're just good at it.
No, to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of range, but I kind of, through working with Kurt and the guys that I've put together to help create my sound, Matt Wade and
he's
Chris
the man.
Clark and a couple people that really I've spent a lot of time with, just trying to kind of hone what I can do. And the idea originally formed around wanting to make a movie about a former country western singer.
Is that in the makes? You doing that?
Yeah. And so
nice.
I that's why I started to do this. And then the idea just kind of got out of hand, and I moved to Nashville and I started touring. And that wasn't part of the plan. That was just kind of an accident.
you became the part.
Yes.
That's cool.
I became the part.
How do fans receive it? Like, so they're always used to seeing you on camera or whatever, doing movies, and now you're playing music. Was it well received easily?
It's a funny thing because there's a few different layers. First of all, my father rode bulls for 12 years for a living, and I was raised a cowboy by cowboys. But I spent a good part of my life trying to get away from that and not wanting to expose that for whatever, stereotypical reasons and my own issues with it. But it's kind of funny because now, having spent a lifetime hiding behind characters and roles, I've discovered music. And that sort of happened when I embraced that authentic part of myself and really started to love that rural essence and embrace that and not be ashamed of it in any way, shape, or form. And when that happened, songs started to flow and music started to appear in my life, and very, very organically, this new life. Anyway, just to wrap this up, the organic process, it really took me by surprise. I didn't anticipate having the platform that I have and I really didn't anticipate being able to write songs, and having spent 40 years in the storytelling business in Hollywood, it was a very simple transition once I had people like Kurt sit down with me and
kind of encourage you.
Well, I was encouraging him. It was more like he was trying to show me the rules. Like I'd write a song and he'd say, well, you don't have a chorus, and I said, well, I don't know how to write a chorus.
I was like, well,
and he said, well, let's sit down and write a chorus, and then he taught me how to write a chorus, and then. I think it was like the next day my friend Liz came by and she said, I have a song, but I don't have a chorus. And I said, I'll write the chorus for it. And I wrote a chorus. And then Kurt came by the next day and we played that song. And she said, Tommy wrote this chorus for me. And he said, Tommy wrote that damn chorus for you?
Taught him yesterday.
Taught him yesterday. Right.
Well, he says that he was like, but still, he was like, I've been writing a little bit. He pulls out this notepad and it's like 80 pages full of lyrics. I'm like, geez Louise, dude. You write a lot.
Yes.
Like I got this beautiful picture of you guys together.
No, that's at the Outsiders.
See, I had Danny Boy on the show.
Oh, you
was
did?
talking about, yeah. Danny Boy is about 8 foot tall. I mean,
he really is.
He's an intimidating guy, dude. I was like,
and he's Danny O'Connor from
House of Pain.
House of Pain. He's the one that really was behind the Outsiders, the museum that is really the Curtis Brothers house in Tulsa, which
he bought it and refurbished it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of memorabilia. It's a great spot.
People can just go there and pay and walk around and take photos, kind of thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's yes, but there's something. I don't know. There's something sort of. Most of the locations are within walking distance of the house. So
that's cool.
If you're, I don't know, with Pony Boy, for example, Kurt got a personal tour. So,
can you talk about your acting debut when you were at the? You had one line.
But he took us all around to like this is where the Rumble was, and Taylor was over there holding the phone like. He was our percussionist at the time. He's like, man, he did a great job with that camera work. Man, I was like, man, I could never do what he was doing.
We had a good time.
Yes, we did. And then we came back to the house, and he was like, all right, Tommy's like,
this is great.
All right, we're going to reenact a scene from the movie. All right, you do this, you do this, you do this. I'm over there
you played Rob Lowe's part. You played
I did. I screwed it up.
All you had to say, I had one line. Through the door. All you had to say, you don't even remember your line.
Hey, can you do it now? What's your line? Say it now.
Hey, Pony Boy, where you been?
That's all you had to say.
But at the time, dude, he's not telling you. There was a room full of people
like this
with their phones out.
Watching
us. And they were all like,
what he's not telling you is he's been practicing that line 100 times a day since.
Dude, I've been dreaming of. Dude, I love movies. I'm a big fan of movies. So I was like, oh my god. I was like, he's a director. He's an actor. I was like. Oh my God, I'm getting directed by a real director right now. Then I friggin' blew it. I was like, hey, Pony Boy, how you been? And I'm like, I just screamed, but it was awful.
But I love we get in here and you say, hey, we got makeup for you. I said, I'm good. Kurt says, I'll take the makeup.
I'll take the
makeup.
Guys like me don't get to do makeup.
Tommy said, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm all right.
Hey, look at these guys. You're talking about Matt. Look.
That's my mandolin player right there.
Dude, that's at the Shrine.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, it's good
out
times.
in Tulsa,
so
baby.
you found out about Matt through Kurt, obviously.
Yeah.
And I saw Matt go on the road with you, right?
Yeah, Matt's in my band.
Oh yeah, Matt's awesome.
Matt's part of the Pony Express, man.
Yes.
Oh, the Pony Express. That's good, dude. I love
Matt's
Matt.
the best.
Matt works out religiously, and his wife does too.
Do you roll?
No. You go, no.
We don't roll.
We don't roll.
Talking about jujitsu.
Yeah, I don't do anything. I do drink beer though. I like that. Look at this. This is you guys right here.
Yeah, that was the first.
That was at
the first time?
That was at the Walking Dead.
That was the first. That was sort of the conception of the Pony Girls song.
Yes.
See, where that came from, there's a lullaby written in like 1908, I think, called Pony Boy.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm not positive, but I think that might be where Susie Hinton grabbed that
got
name.
inspired.
Maybe. Right?
Yeah.
I haven't really asked her this, but I love the lullaby, and it's nothing like our song.
You made it your own kind of.
But it's you know, it inspired me to write Pony Girl, and I shared it with Kurt, and Kurt was like, "Oh my God, man, sit down," and he just kind of poured his heart into it and came up with that melody And then, you know, we started writing some words together, and it just really kind of, it happened very quickly.
I told
Kurt and I write fast, really.
But I told him,
That's
I was
cool.
like, brother, be prepared to play that the rest of your life.
Right.
I mean, as soon as we
I
wrote
don't
it,
mind.
I was like, you're going to sing.
I don't mind.
You're
It's
gonna
a sweet
sing that.
song, you know. It's a sweet song.
Isn't it
You're
funny?
gonna
Like
sing
the
this
best
forever.
songs come together so quickly.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
It's like you didn't have to work that hard. Just
Well,
naturally.
you catch them more
Yeah.
than you write them. It's like, I caught that one. Yeah. It was just flying around.
And I'll never forget it. We wrote it, and he looked at me, and I said, "What do you think?" And he goes, "I hate you." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've been writing songs for years, and here you are. You just start, and here you go. You got a song like this." And I said, "Well,
you got you
no,
one they're
man."
going to sing along to, and that's
I'm-
really what it's all about, you know.
I'm so glad you guys let me play it with you guys. I mean, that
You did a
was
great
very
job,
cool.
man.
No,
You did
man,
an
I'm just-
awesome job.
You guys did all the work. I was just hitting a box. Look at this. You were in E.T., dude.
Yes.
Okay, was this your first movie?
Well, that wasn't my first filming experience, but it was.
Okay.
It was my first sort of, you know, established role in a major movie. You know, I grew up doing commercials and
you did?
TV roles.
Did your parents get you involved, obviously?
Well,
like
my
this?
father's a stuntman, and
cool.
And I started doing stunts as a kid, and that's kind of what got me my foot in the door for ET. So I get picked up at school from my father, and this is the ingenuity of my dad. He's amazing. I get picked up from school from my father, and he says, "We have to go meet a gentleman named Steven Spielberg." And I didn't know who he was. I was like, "Okay, cool." And he hands me a pack of Marlboros and some matches, and he says, "You have to learn how to light this cigarette." And I said, "Okay." And I'm working on trying to light this cigarette for the next 40 minutes while he's driving me to this audition to go in and meet Steven Spielberg to be in this movie called E.T. Well, I'm told that the role had been cast, and the person they cast was a young Mormon boy, and his mama wouldn't let him smoke a cigarette. And so Steven said, "You're out." And this is the 80s, right? I don't know. There was something about the cigarette that was important at the time. Anyway, I show up.
God bless him.
I show up, and I go in this room, and there's like 6 guys that all look like John Stamos. You know, they got the brown feathered hair and the blue eyes, and I'm looking at all these boys, and I said to my dad, I said, "Daddy, let's just go home because it's, there ain't no chance in hell I'm gonna get this." And he said, just wait. They all went in one at a time, and finally it was my turn. I go in, I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at Steven Spielberg and Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall, the producers of Indiana Jones.
That's amazing.
It was a big, big meeting. And he starts asking me some questions, and he loved the fact that my father was a stunt man. And he said, "Can you ride the bike?" I said, "Hey, that's the bike's the easy part." He said, what about the cigarette?" So of course I fished out this rumpled pack of Marlboros, and what felt like an eternity, I pulled out this cigarette that did a 90-degree turn, and I'm trying to light the thing. He said, "All right, kid, you got the part," and that was it, man.
How old were you at that time?
I was 41.
41. Yes, man.
You're aged amazing.
That's right. Don't I look good?
You look great.
Like that cigarette at 41?
I was like 14 or 13 or 14.
Oh, I thought
wow.
you were younger. Yeah. And so what happened after E.T.? So that was your first...
Would you run out of pictures?
Hey, man. Well,
I'm just saying.
I go straight to the money
Okay,
right
all
here.
right,
Look at
all
this
right.
guy. Look at this.
Well, what do you mean what happened after ET? You got a picture of it.
No, it's right here.
One of my favorite stories you told me was why y'all were all laughing.
In the poster?
Yes.
Okay, good. We got to... I listened to Rob Blow's book.
You listen to it. Yeah, nobody
Audio.
reads anymore.
I don't
That's
know.
the funniest thing I've ever heard in my
I'm
life.
the-
is,
I'm-
hey, I listened to Rob
I'm the
Blow's book.
same way.
I never
I'm the
learned to
same
read.
way.
Right,
Okay.
nobody reads that shit.
He said you guys were laughing at Leif Garrett or whatever.
Well, here's what happened, right? So you see Rob laughing, and there was a photo session for the poster set up, and the other cast members were lurking around the socias, Diane Lane and Darren Dalton and Leif Garrett. And we were here kind of serious blokes trying to take our poster shots, and a gentleman walked in with a tray of food and set it down on a table, and he says something to the effect of, real loud to the crew, "Hey, everybody, this is for the talent, okay?" And he walks out. Well, Leif walks over and picks up a sandwich. somebody says, "Hey, Leif, that's for the talent." so we all busted up laughing. And there's some confusion because Leif said that I said it, and I had a little bit of my relationship with Leif was an interesting one.
Was it?
Yeah.
I want to hear about this.
Yeah, it was, you know, I guess I took it, I think I took it a little too serious. Like, I didn't like the socials, you know.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't like the socials. But the irony behind that is one of the socials I did Red Dawn with, Darren Dalton, he was the bug eater. And then I became his roommate for a few years, so.
And he still comes out.
He's still my boy.
So now you're friends. And
well, he was my
singer.
he was my best man.
Really?
Twice.
Twice? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Twice.
That's right. Hey, it takes a minute to get shit right.
He was my best man.
Twice.
Yeah. That's a good man.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
good friend.
That's the bestest man.
He might have jinxed
That's
you.
how I mean.
Dude, I want you to talk about this
about
this all-star cast, though. I mean, what were these people like? Who'd you get along with the most? You got everybody.
Oh man, we got along with everybody.
Tom
First
Cruise?
of all, well, yeah, Tom was incredible.
Patrick Swayze. I mean, this is Emilio Estevez.
You know, Patrick, Rob, and I spent a lot of time together, just sort of forming that brotherly bond, really. And Matt and Ralph and I spent a lot of time together because in the storyline we had, you know, a real adventure, and you have to understand, Ralph is about 7 years older than I am.
And he looks young always.
Well, I tortured the hell out of him, right? Really? I mean, he was like 21, I'm 14. He's wanting to run lines, I'm wanting to play Miss Pac-Man, you know? It was like, it was tough.
Did y'all have your own machine? Like Miss Pac-Man?
On E.T. we did.
Did you?
Yes,
Dude,
but
that's amazing.
But on this, we didn't have crap. Like, on this, no, they treated us lowball. Like, all the greasers, like, they would set up games on the weekends where they would have, like, barbecues where they would set up football games between us and the socials. Well, the socials would show up in matching uniforms with their jumpsuits and their leather-bound scripts, and we wouldn't get shit, you know? No. So we would, like, bring it. We would just want to pound it. We would want to pound these guys, and we hated them. They stayed, like, up in the penthouse. We were down in the lower floors. And there was, I think, a real psychological aspect to it that Coppola really sort of puppet mastered, and that helped a lot. That helped a lot. We also shot the movie, the entire film, on videotape.
Yeah.
Before we ever rolled a frame of real film. And then he cut it together and he screened it for us. So we got to watch this movie on videotape. And at the time, that was unheard of because you know, today videotape is a common thing. I mean, hell, we all have them, right? But then it was an unusual thing. And to be able to learn from that, what it did a lot of things. First of all, it taught us about our own habits, good and bad.
Yeah.
And it created the bonds that we needed to really, you know, today all the rehearsals the first thing removed out of the budget. There's no money for rehearsal. There's no money for getting to know anybody.
This is good stuff. Nobody talks about
So it's like
that.
you show up on a set now and you'll meet a woman and you'd be like, "Hi, I'm Tommy. Hi, okay, we got to make love. What was your name again?"
God,
Diane.
amazing.
Okay, cool. Diane.
Diane.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, we used to have hours, and you used to be able to really connect with people, and you know the outsiders. Francis, I think, understood the value of developing those relationships for real, and it's unfortunate today because, you know, I tasted the last of golden Hollywood. You know, I worked with Elizabeth Taylor. I worked with Anne Margaret. I worked with Francis Ford Coppola and this incredible cast. And the point is, back then movies were special. Today, you know, it's kind of a miracle to be in something special anymore. And people are so willing to accept any sort of mediocre whatever.
Why is that?
As being special.
When did that change? Is it because of just social media? Everything's instant. It's, you know.
you know, I think, you know, I mean, look at TikTok.
Yeah.
People would rather watch that.
Yeah.
And, you know, nobody needs a beginning, a middle, and an end anymore. People just want to hear, you know, something kind of obnoxious and share it with their friends.
Yeah. Did you keep in touch with these guys? Because I know Red Dawn followed pretty quick, right?
Yeah, I mean, as much as we could, it's like everybody had a massive career instantly.
They did.
So it's like,
that was a lot.
we kept in touch, but it's not like everybody was hanging out. We were all scattered around the world, you know, still today.
It's insane.
I see Ralph all the time. I
you?
talk to Rob.
I love Cobra Kai and all this stuff he's doing now.
I see Emilio, but I don't
Emilio,
I don't
that's
see
amazing.
Tom. And Matt moved to Italy for most of the time. So, but you know who's awesome is Diane Lane. She's incredible.
Dude,
what
I
an
had
amazing
such a
woman.
crush on her,
She's an
man.
amazing woman. Amazing woman.
Yes.
I'll never forget, like, the night after she was nominated for an Academy Award, she flew up to be with us when we did this sort of 25th anniversary thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, certain people wouldn't come. Emilio wouldn't come. Tom wouldn't come. For whatever reasons, they were busy. But the point is, they weren't at the Oscars, like, you know, about to win Best Actress. And she showed up, and I was really impressed by that.
That's cool.
And you know, she really supports. First of all, Francis really plucked her at a young age and supported her career. I mean, the role he gave her in Cotton Club, the role he gave her in The Outsiders. I mean, he really supported her, and I think, you know, she reciprocates that and adores him. So that's just a
Did
really,
you work with her again and down the road? Any other things?
my
Wow,
boy, I
stuff
would.
like-
I sure would. I love her. She's amazing.
Glad you were talking about her, because look at this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's she's just
She was so young right here, too. I don't know the
16, I think.
Yeah. But great to work with her.
You said she had a protective dad.
Yeah, I think his name was Barney. And Barney would roll around, kind of grumbling and making sure that you know, nobody got out of hand. It was like, there will be no rumbles with my daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Look at this. God, this movie changed me.
That's
man.
awesome.
Gotta watch this movie growing up. I know you did too, Kurt.
I did, man.
Like-
we dug foxholes in
Look
the
at these two.
backyard.
Patrick and Jennifer.
Before Dirty Dancing. You know?
Well, there was an interesting story about that too, because in Red Dawn, in the original script, there was a love scene written between these two characters, and Patrick really had an aversion to it. He really didn't want to do it.
Why? That's.
Well,
I'll be an actor. I'll be like,
well, could you?
That's why you become an
So
actor.
wait, really?
Yeah.
So we're running
sorry.
from the Russians and we're shooting people. We go, hold on, let me jam Tony real quick, and now let's run for our lives.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Then again, I was.
I don't get it, man.
I was young when
I'm
I
on
saw it.
Patrick's side with that.
They had no toothbrushes.
There was
either,
like
so this is
4
steak, foul.
pages of dialogue and character development for Jennifer for the role of Tony, and she was pissed. She wanted to do it, and it caused a real issue.
That's interesting. I've
It caused a
never
real
heard that
issue. So
before.
like the last 3 or 4 weeks of filming, like they wouldn't even talk. I mean, it was that bad. So
Yeah.
they went, you know, when the movie was over, they were not friends. So could you imagine, like 2 years later, she's cast in Dirty Dancing first. She's the role of Baby, and they're scouring the country, looking all over for, you know, this fantastic dancer named Johnny.
Yes.
And, you know, just about when they're gonna give up on it all, they say, "We found him! Oh my God!"
like,
and you're
"Who
not
is
gonna
it?"
believe it. And she says, "Who is it?" Patrick Swayze.
Oh
It's the
God.
guy you hate.
Yeah, the guy.
Yes, that's right. But we're thinking about writing that love scene again.
Oh yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? I mean, but that's the credit I give to Patrick, because he was able to take that and not only turn it around, but make an incredible movie. I mean, that movie's iconic. People
Yeah, it
love
is.
that movie, you know?
Yeah.
So to go from, we should sit down and talk about what happened a couple years ago because we're about to do this and make it work is incredible.
Absolutely.
And he really had he really had this strange gift of just being fantastic at everything. I mean, it was annoying.
Really?
Yes. It's just like, you know, whatever it was that you were going to do, he could just do it a little bit better and did, you know, and it didn't
Yeah.
matter.
He's
It
like
was
perfect shape, everything. He's like he's got some good genes, dude.
Yeah, but like, but Patrick was like the guy that was on the ballet. What would that be called? The troupe. He was like on the ballet troupe, like
Yeah.
with all the greatest dancers in the world, with like the Marlboro hanging out of his mouth. right? You know, he was a badass.
Was he?
Yeah, man. He was super cool, dude.
And you kept contact with him? I mean, like, before,
yeah, man. I did 3 movies with him.
Yeah. Oh, you did, and we're
So
going to talk about him.
We did Grandview USA as well,
Lord,
which
we're going to talk about that one too.
Dude, one of the coolest moments I've had with you was we were getting together to write one day, and I follow a thing on Instagram called 80s something, and it was a picture of.
I learned so much shit about this guy.
It was Patrick Swayze and you and Rob Lowe and y'all were all 3 on each other's, and I brought you that picture. I said, "Do you remember this day?" And you go, "That was a wonderful day."
Yeah, man.
I was like, "Man, that's cool. That's so cool."
Yeah.
What day was that? What happened?
Y'all were shooting.
Yeah, that was the day we went out to the
Outsiders.
park. We were shooting The Outsiders, and we had a big picnic day, and we were just kind of rallying around. It was a day off, and we were all just kind of throwing a football around and hanging out. And we did sort of the totem pole where Rob hopped on Patrick's back, and I jumped on Rob's shoulders, and Patrick stood up and was walking around, and we were just clowning around, having a great time. And I think from there we went and spent a few nights at the brother's house together, just to kind of walk around the neighborhood and hang out, and you know, stuff that you don't get the opportunity to do anymore.
Yeah.
Because people would rather be on their phone and stay home.
That's true.
Yeah.
How does life change when you get done with The Outsiders? When going into The Outsiders, maybe not many people know about you. You did E.T., but when you do The Outsiders and you get done, people are like, "Can I get your autograph?" What was that like, that adjustment, you know? Of like, now I'm famous.
That's like Beatlemania.
Yeah.
Man.
How'd you handle that? Did it seem unreal?
You know, the teen magazine thing kind of kicked in and took over. I started working a lot. So even though the fame began, I was in this environment. I had lights pointed at me and I was behind the camera. I wasn't really, you know, boy banding it out, man. I was I was working. So at a young age, I worked. At that time in the 80s, pretty much, you know, if there was a 15-year-old kid in it, that script came across my desk, you know. And
That's amazing.
so
Yeah.
it was a different thing for me. You know, I was raised on sets. My father was a single father, so a single parent, and he'd take me to the set with him to go to work. So I was raised on sets. It wasn't a special thing for me. It was so. I knew I was going to work in film my entire life. I had aspirations of being a director. I wanted to be, you know, a cinematographer. And that's the greatest thing about the film business is you don't have to just stop in one area. You can get as creative as you want. You can write. You can get into music. You can dance. You can, you know, get into makeup if you want. Like Kurt, for example.
A lot of avenues.
Yes.
And my makeup.
Yes.
Kurt is a beautiful man.
Yes.
He is now.
He's a beautiful man.
He's a beautiful man. And so that to me was very intriguing, you know, at a young age.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of.
You seemed fearless when you were young. I mean, you were talking about these scripts, anything you need to do. Were you doing your own stunts? Like, were you inspired by
Well,
your
yeah, but
dad
I was
and stuff?
raised in rodeo, right? So
Yeah.
I was riding bulls and team roping and roping calves at a very young age, and we had ranch life. So, you know, I was feeding, and I had real responsibilities. Like going to meet Francis Coppola was there was no pressure. The pressure was like when you're getting on a 1,500-pound bull and you're 13. You know, it was like holy crap, right?
Yeah, that's
So by the time you
Wow.
go meet Spielberg, I honestly I was so content and so focused on being a cowboy. In 1979, 1980, 1981, I was California State Junior All-Around Champion 3 years in a row. I really trained hard to become a cowboy, a professional cowboy. So when the acting thing started, that was a real change up for me. And at first, I did it just to get better horses and equipment to go rodeo.
Really?
I didn't really think it would last. I did E.T. and I was like, great, man, I'm gonna go buy a new trailer and I'm out of here.
That's funny how life works, man.
You know?
Just randomness kind of. That's cool. Look, I got this because
Wow.
you and Patrick, you're wearing a mask. I thought it was like it's like
COVID.
funny. You were doing it before everyone else was doing it.
I had a COVID mask.
You go, COVID.
That's a COVID Thomas hat.
I paused this for my living room. I was like, he's wearing a mask.
COVID.
He's the first one.
Well, remember he was crying because he
Dude,
didn't want to
you
shoot.
were covered for
He didn't
COVID
want to shoot
was-
him.
He
Yeah.
didn't want to shoot Daryl, the bug eater.
Yes.
And I was like, I got this.
I got this. That was,
get out of
that
here,
was
man.
so awesome, dude.
Let's get out of here.
Boom.
And that was my roommate that was laying there in the snow watching us ride away. And for the rest of our lives, he'll forever be the bug-eating Soch.
That's what he is.
That's what he is.
You know, as a kid watching that movie, keep in mind I was like 8 or 9 years old, but there was a little piece of me is like, it's because he drank that deer blood, man. It's
Oh
because
my
he drank
God.
that deer blood.
What
That's
did you
why.
drink? What was in
That's why he became a badass.
Yes.
Like you did.
It'll change
I
you.
remember
He was the
thinking,
same.
it's like I need to go drink some deer
Yeah,
blood.
you gotta get
It'll
some
make me
A's.
tough.
Dude, I was convinced that
I
really
think it was a
blood.
combination between the deer blood and
is
peeing in the radiator.
Peeing
That,
in-
like we
Yes.
crossed the streams.
Yeah.
Right there. Like, and it
Don't
was
ever
all-
cross
Don't
the
cross the streams.
Don't cross the
I think we crossed the streams. Yeah.
God, man, that's good. What was in that blood, though? By the way, can you say it was this? I was like, this is blood he's drinking.
It
You go,
looked
you
thick,
go,
man.
you go. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I was like,
It was a mixture of a lot of really nasty, foul stuff, brother.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, I'd rather have had the blood. yeah. It was gross.
you must have known that was special, that whole movie when you're working on it. I mean, can you tell? You,
Well, back then, all movies were special.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, back then, movies had...
John Miller.
Well, they also had
Oh, yeah.
budgets and value. John Milius was the writer and a fantastic director, and you know, it just there was a certain weight to being on the set that you don't feel often unless you're on some Marvel movie these days.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a different vibe.
you were on some of those, right? You were
Yeah,
on the
man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This movie. Oh my gosh, dude.
How many pictures you got back
I
there?
got about 20 more.
Oh, this is like a clown car over here.
Look at this. This was like Jamie Lee Curtis, dude.
I just got a hello
Holy
from her
crap.
today.
Really?
Did
yeah.
you?
Yeah, today.
I did not.
Why, I was so random. Did she just text you?
Random. Even
She did
okay,
not
this is how
text me.
random it is.
I wish
You wanna
she
hear the
would text you
story?
right now.
She
That
did
would be
not text
amazing.
me.
Okay, dig this. No, dig this. My very first girlfriend on the planet is a girl named Kyle Richards. She's now on a show called Beverly Hills Housewives.
Wow. Okay.
She was in a film called Halloween with Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
They're now, right now, today, shooting a sequel in Savannah, Georgia, and Kyle texted me and said, "I'm with Jamie Lee, and she sends her love."
That's amazing.
Yes.
It's like the 7 degrees of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes, and that's what I immediately thought. I was like, I didn't know what to say because I was like, how much are they talking? What did they know?
What all do they know?
What did she share? I was like, well, you just tell her I said hi.
Yes.
Yes.
That's dude.
Jamie Lee.
Jamie Lee.
Jamie.
Was she cool?
God, man. Yeah. What's
She's
she
the
cool?
coolest woman.
Is she?
Yeah, she's the coolest
I
woman.
had the biggest crush on her back in the day. That's
She's
just-
some Hollywood royalty, man.
Yeah,
Like
her dad.
Tony Curtis.
Yep.
And, Janet Leigh, right? Janet.
That's right.
Yeah,
Janet Leigh. From the Birds.
Psycho. Psycho.
And the Birds, too, I think.
The Birds.
She's the
Oh,
original
yeah.
screen queen.
That's awesome. And then another Patrick Swayze. I mean, this time you guys gotta be like boys. I mean, how many movies? This is your third one with him. Right?
I think we did Red Dawn was our third one, and I'll never
okay.
forget. I'll never forget. He came up to me, and we had been doing like a lot of stuff had been coming across our plate. And he came up to me and said, this will probably be our last movie. And of course, I was too young to understand what he meant by that. But I think he just didn't want to be, the new Laurel and Hardy or whatever. and I didn't really get it. But we stayed really great friends, and
That's good.
he really wanted to be a cowboy, so he'd come to the ranch and we'd teach him how to rope and ride all the time.
Speaking of that,
all the
Tommy
time.
has a song that he wrote with Dave Kennedy.
Yeah.
That called "Just a Man," and
Okay.
dude, you gotta hear it. He goes,
How's it go, man? Just sing it.
It's hung out with my buddy Swayze. Taught him how to rope and how to ride. It's like his life, this unique life that he's got to live, poured out through a song. And man, it talks about all.
It's
the-
on Spotify.
Yeah, it's
Just
cool,
a man. It's on
man.
Spotify.
It's cool, man.
It's the only song I have on Spotify.
I play harmonica on it.
you?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
I love this movie. That was great. Good movie. I only got about a couple more here. Look at this. Could this be made today, Soul Man?
You know what? Here's the funny thing about Soul Man is nobody that has seen the film has ever had anything derogatory to say about Soul Man. I've caught hell from some like little teenage white girls who have never seen the movie, who have this, you know, fake platform on their social media that want to call me out for doing this movie 40 years ago for being in blackface. Now, out of context, I get it. You know, you take a white kid and you put him in blackface and it's horrible. But nobody was mocking anybody in this movie. This is a movie about
having to walk in someone else's shoes, man.
It's an anti-racist film.
Yeah, it is. It was.
So the movie speaks for itself. You know, I don't regret it. People say, "Can you make this movie today?" Well, what's offensive about it? Because there's a white guy in blackface. Okay, then if we're going to talk about that, then I apologize. Mm-hmm. If you want to talk about the content and the heart and soul of the piece, guys, we're on your side.
Yeah.
So snap out of it. I mean, that's what is difficult about having that conversation. If you've seen the film, it's a simple conversation to have. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen the film, it's a pointless conversation to have.
When they sent you the script, did you think anything? I mean, nobody was talking about like this. Did you think anything about it, or just, it sounds like a great script?
It was very risky.
So you knew it was risky when you were
very risky, but I mean, it was risky for me because I hadn't done anything like that.
Did you have people telling you not to do it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't risky politically. It was just risky creatively. I mean, a white guy putting on blackface and trying to carry a movie this way. I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, you know, there were a lot of people vying for that role. Timothy Robbins wanted that role. Like a lot of people wanted this role. It wasn't like they couldn't give this role away and we'll give it to Tommy. You know what I mean? It was an important piece at the time that I felt a certain responsibility behind. You know, it spoke of, it had value and it had weight, and it was a wonderful scene at the end with James Earl Jones, where even the professor sort of looks at this kid who's now sort of, you know, this white, you know, privileged kid that's sitting in front of him. He says, well, now you know what it's like. And it's my favorite moment in the movie. The kid turns to him and says, I don't. And he says, what do you mean? He says, because I knew I could always turn back. And he said, I that's the difference. And there's some really funny, valuable lessons in the film. And it's my son Liam's favorite movie that I've done.
Is it?
And, you know.
And you got to hang out with Ronald Reagan Jr.
I did.
On that.
That's right. We played basketball.
Yeah.
They were
He's in the
playing
basketball
yeah,
scene.
yeah,
That's one of the
yeah,
funniest scenes.
I remember that.
Right, he looks at me and goes,
They're fighting over it.
he looks at me and goes, I'll take Washington. I'm like, it's Watson.
Just keep fighting. He goes, guys, I'm
Watson.
not.
I don't play.
That's
I don't
me.
play, man. I don't play ball.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Guys, you don't understand. I'm not that good.
But that to me is again, just going back to what you said, you know, this couldn't be made today. Well, you know, you're right, because that's just how screwed up our society is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This, going back to leaving that topic, going Grandview, USA.
Yeah.
Steely Man.
Yeah.
Forgot to talk about that.
Yeah.
Grandview, USA. You did a music video in the movie.
That Patrick Swayze choreographed.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
How long did that take?
Yes.
Like 2 days.
Oh, okay.
Really?
That was cool.
I would think that would take forever.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, well, you didn't get that for that. They were like, no, good, you got 2 days for this. But I was petrified, you know.
Really?
I never.
I was going to ask you.
I'm not
you
a
had fun.
dancer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just not my
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
they look really pretty.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. For people who know, if you YouTube that
As
Steely
a
Man.
kid, I was
Oh,
like,
it's so
man,
good.
she's pretty.
Oh, yeah. And
You know who wasn't bad as a kid?
who's that?
Kelly Preston.
Oh,
yeah.
Secret Admirer, dude. Yeah,
Damn.
man, I hate we lost her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Secret
What was
Admirer,
she
that
like?
was good, yeah.
She was all woman. I mean, that scene in that car, I was speechless. I couldn't talk for like 2 days.
You told me, you said it.
I was like, oh my
You talking about the
Lord.
beginning? When
but there was a
No, when he goes on a date with Deborah Ann Fimple, she takes
yeah.
her top off and he's
Oh,
just
yes.
like staring at her.
Dude, I
Wasn't
miss
her
boobs in the
boyfriend on
80s, man.
Her
That was-
boyfriend was on the set or something.
Her husband.
Her husband, even worse.
She was married. She was married, but
You told me it was
I
like,
did not
oh,
mind. I was like, we should do one more take just for.
One more take.
Yeah.
Don't shoot the rehearsal on that one.
No. Let's run through this a couple times. Yeah. I just want to make sure we're ready.
Yeah. And Jamie too, man. I was like, wow.
Yeah, she wasn't suffering either.
I paused it and I was like, that's Jamie
She
Lee
wasn't
Curtis.
suffering either. I know there was something about that.
I
I got all those roles. Like I was the young guy that was like dealing with life and racks.
Yes, dude. Tough life. Isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
tough life, man.
Look
It's
at
a tough life. Somebody got to do it.
I did a
Somebody's got
movie
to
with
do it.
Elizabeth Hurley, and I had a love scene with her.
How'd that go down?
Every
There was
guy
some
in the room
bros
just
and some moans back there. Woo!
Yeah.
You know what's wild about that? This is a great moment. So the director
That's a great moment.
has me kissing her and like kissing her neck, and the whole like, you know, shot was me kind of kissing her and disappearing under the blankets while, you know, she has sort of a personal moment and I'm not in the shot anymore. Well, you know, it's like you do that 2 or 3 times, and then it's like I'm sitting over there at lunch kind of by myself, and she's sitting next to me in silence, and she says, well, Thomas, I feel much closer to you suddenly. Hey, man.
That's the best Elizabeth Hurley
Hey,
I've
man.
ever heard.
That's pretty
Hey,
good.
it happens, you know? It's not like things happen, but you get close.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it gets
You're like,
intimate, man.
Like, how do you not get aroused? Because I'd be like, I can't stand up
Because
now.
there's 87 people staring at you,
It
man.
wouldn't matter, man. It's like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, really?
boobs
You're
right
like,
in
you're
there.
like, it wouldn't matter, man. Dude, you'd be like this. Are
Really?
you kidding?
It'd be like a,
He's like, it wouldn't matter, man. He'd be like, bro, you okay? You cold, man? Are you
I'm
cold,
having
brother?
any.
He's like, I need a minute.
What's going on, man? You all right? And he's like, what do you mean, man? Like, nah, man.
I don't care.
Come on, man.
Let him
Come on,
watch.
man. That ain't the podcast, son. You know what I'm saying? That life outside the door ain't the podcast.
I love you, man.
Yes, sir.
Talk about what your last one we'll talk about.
Yes.
Far Out Man.
That was awesome.
Yes.
Tommy Chong, amazing dude. Amazing dude.
Were you a big Cheech and Chong?
Well, you know what? I was exposed to it. I was a little young for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like a 70s thing. And I was just, you know, a wee lad. But, you know, I woke up one morning in Vegas and was married to his daughter.
Yes.
And
She's in the movie.
yes.
Married Chong's daughter.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
right
pretty
on. She's awesome, by the way. She's the coolest.
Oh, dude.
Did you ever see Quest for Fire?
Dude, I saw Quest for Fire. I saw Commando.
Okay, Easy Tiger.
Dude, Kurt's
Dude,
seen
I
every
loved
movie
her.
ever.
I thought she was great.
Yeah.
So we get a call from Tommy, and he's like, "Hey man, you know, can you come down to the set on Wednesday?" And I said, "Sure, you know, I'll roll down." Well, I go down, and it turns out I have like the second or third lead in this movie for the next 6 or 7 weeks. And he never told me about it. It was just like, "Can you come back tomorrow? Can you come back tomorrow?" And there was
Oh,
no
he never told you.
script, and we were ad-libbing the
Really?
whole thing.
Yeah.
So I played myself.
You played yourself. Yeah, that's
There was
funny.
no
yeah.
script, man.
I heard that when I was
no
watching,
script.
like, see Thomas. Oh, well, that's his name.
But it was one of the greatest experiences ever. I
Yeah.
mean, you talk about the exact opposite of a stressful set.
Yeah, you probably needed that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Did
most
you smoke
people,
with him?
Most people. You know what? Here's the thing.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah,
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Tommy isn't that stony dude that he portrays. Yeah, he'll have a hit, and yeah, I probably smoked some weed with him, but it's not like we laid around the house bonging with him and Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? It's just like it wasn't the case. It's not who he is, and it's not. Yes, he sells paraphernalia. Yes, he's sort of the Cheech and Chong kind of stony 70s hippie weed persona. But in real life, he's a very smart dude, man. He's super, super smart. To be able to write that material.
Did Did he
back
write all the
then,
old movies too?
It was
I didn't-
epic, man.
Yeah,
Of
that's
course
great.
he did. Of course he did.
Yeah.
He and Cheech were epic.
Man, they're doing
Dude, first of
soundtracks.
all,
Cheech's book.
ethnic
I
guys
gotta check that
back then getting deals in Hollywood. Come on, man, stop.
Yeah.
No, these guys were off the charts and super, super, super smart and pretty stony. So you gotta
Stony and smart.
You gotta give it to him.
Yeah, and you got married to his daughter.
Yeah, she's super cool. She taught me a lot.
You met her on this movie? Or did you
Yeah,
know
I met her on
before?
this movie. She was a little bit older than I was, and really introduced me to the finer things in life. You know, I was just this kid from a ranch, and you know, like I learned what a 1,000 count sheet was from her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was like the thread count's important, you know. And you probably don't know where we're at.
I really don't.
It's all right, kid. It's all right.
I played it off. I was like, yeah. That
Yeah,
counts.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, Scott, you gotta talk about Hitcher.
Oh, Hitcher, yes. Hitcher 1 and 2, right? You love
Well,
both.
just
We don't have to talk about 2, I don't think.
Yeah.
That's like talking about the remake of Red Dawn. Why? Why would we do that?
How was Hitcher, man? I'm trying to remember what year that came out in.
Well, I think it was about 84.
Yeah.
That's an
wow.
HBO movie.
Oh, yeah?
Let's see, no, I guess it might have been 86. 86, I guess. Rutger Hauer, amazing, amazing. You know, he was such a fine villain. Like, he had mastered the bad guy.
Dude, he scared the crap out of me.
And one day he invites me to have lunch with him, and we're sitting in a trailer, and it's you know, nobody's talking for what felt like an eternity. It might have been 10 minutes. And he's smoking filterless Camels, you know, and there's like potato salad in front of him, and he's just, you know, saying nothing and smoking. And finally, out of just sheer panic, I muster up the courage to say, Rutger, you know, everybody says you're the greatest bad guy. You know, what's your secret? And he kind of looks at me and he's smoking and he's like, I don't play bad guys.
That's what he said, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I gathered my shit and left.
Yeah.
Not creep me the hell out, man. How
Creep me out.
what the hell? What
I don't
are you
play
talking
bad
about?
guys.
That rattled around in my head for 25 years, man. And then I got hired to play the Reaper on Criminal Minds. And it was my turn to play the bad guy. And I finally understood what he meant. And what he meant was, when you watch a film and there's a bad guy that's playing the bad guy, man, how many times do we go, well, this sucks, this movie's terrible. But when you get somebody like Rutger Hauer who finds the humanity, who can connect on a very deep emotional level with the audience by not doing something that is, you know, supernatural. Like bad guys who walk in their room and shoot everybody and they don't flinch and like they don't get shot back and shit like that. It's just like, to me, I can't really wrap my arms around that kind of a story. But Rutger had this poetic sensibility to him.
Yeah.
And he painted a picture so beautifully and was so human within his evil ways. And for me, scratching that when I played the Reaper, I get people come up to me a lot and they say, "Oh my God, I watched Criminal Minds and you're crazy, you're psycho." And I say, "Well, you know, you should watch it again." And they said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "He's a pretty grounded guy. He's really not psycho." And that's what makes it so effective.
Oh, yeah, good
He's
point.
very rooted and he's very clear in what he's doing, and he feels justified and righteous in his own humble way, and he moves forward within that, and he takes care of business. That's scary. If I'm over there twisting my mustache and gonna like tie you up, put you on the train tracks, you know, it's
Yeah,
like,
So it's realistically scary.
yeah, and Rutger really understood that. And by sharing that with me when I was 17 and I didn't understand what the hell he meant, it really blossomed and gave me an opportunity to do probably one of the roles I'm most proud of.
Really? Okay. That's awesome. You're amazing, dude.
Well, thanks, man.
Super honor of you being here.
Thanks a lot, man.
We got to get this guy to act though. What? You're
Oh
gonna be an actor.
man!
Just gotta remember, like,
wait,
give
hang
him
on.
one line.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it right now.
I forgot it.
What happened? Damn.
Hey, wait a minute. I got it.
We
Okay.
were so close.
Hey, Pony Boy, where you been? I can't do it.
What's my name?
I can't do it. Pony Boy. Damn, I'm
You're
sorry.
hired anyway.
Thanks,
Yes,
man.
sir, man.
You
Yeah,
told
man.
me.
Thank you,
so
bro.
much.
Thanks
Thank
a
you so
lot,
much for
man.
being on the show.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Come on, man.
I love you,
It's
pal.
amazing.
That was good. Thanks,
you, guys.
guys.